Happy Self-Love Sunday. I am Tarnisha Moe Sass, your host of Self-Love Sundays with Sass. I am your certified vision strategist coach who comes every single Sunday so we can talk about all the ways in which we can better our best. And this is kind of a part two from last week. And what I was talking about when the video ended last week was I was talking about how, with this breast cancer scare that I had, how I was, having to go to the doctors to get mammograms. It's been like almost every 3 months, and I'm getting ready to transition into every 6 months. And just that in and out and up and down, and that not really knowing because of the scare, what's going to happen. And I was sharing that story. And the reason why I share, and I think this is so important, it's not that I know that it's important. This is why I want to share it with you today, is because our testimonies and the things that we go through are such a help to other people. It really, really helps them see that they're not the only ones. A lot of times, people get depressed and get down or feeling anxious because they think it's just me. I'm the only one that's experienced in this. And when I shared the story on my Instagram, and my Instagram and Facebook handles and all will be at the, also in the video, as well as on my podcast. When I shared it, I got a message, a DM message from a woman and said, thank you for sharing that because I've been going through the same thing. And I kind of was feeling like I'm alone in this. And my reply back to her was, you're absolutely not. And if you need someone to talk to, someone who's going through something similar, please reach out to me. Listen, connection is so important now. We're living in a world where people are talking about becoming more separate from their families and things of that nature. And if you've been following me for a while, you'll know I absolutely do not and will not prescribe to that. And the reason how all of this started is because I was talking about, my second phase of life, which is empty nesting, and some of the things that's been taking place with my children and how I'm changing things. So I'm going to actually give you something recent that I did too, is I decided to hire, most of I had 6 kids. I have 5 living. I decided to hire one of my kids to do videos and photos of me, because I do workshops as well. So I do workshops as well as professional speaking events, and I hire them to do video and photography. But this time, because, I want to teach my children how to do things properly, I actually draw up a contract, and there's a website where you can go and draw up legal documents. I put in there the expectations of the job, how much the job was going to pay, hourly, right? And that was to, first of all, do a few things. One, to let them know that this is very professional, because I don't play about my business. It's very professional. 2, the expectation, because sometimes when we're working with our family and our friends, we don't set the expectation. And sometimes we start demanding more of them than what we put in the description and so on and so forth. And so having that contract drawn to say, hey, this is exact expectation, is a great thing. And it ended up happening that at the event, they had to switch into a different role for me. However, because of the way I drew up the contract, it worked. It worked out. And I made sure that it was worth their while too. So usually I try to pay them, especially because they have to take off work to do it, double what they would have made at their regular jobs. Okay. And so this is all important because we want to start teaching the younger generation how to read a contract, how to look over it. It doesn't matter that I'm your mother. If you want to bargain or negotiate your pay, then let's negotiate your pay, right? And whether or not I'm going to go along with that negotiation is something completely different. However, we do that. And also, I'm getting prepared for my next phase of life, and thinking about moving from my townhouse, and my kids were like, they want to take it over. And so I let them know straight up, we're going to have an official lease. I don't care that you're my children. We have to teach our kids how the real world works, because if we're ever not here, they need to know that, right? They need to know what's expected in the house that they're going to be staying in. I don't care. I'm not treating this as I'm the mom. And when my kids come and work for me, I'm not their mother. I'm their boss. And I treat it just as that. And I'm very professional with them. And I expect them to be very professional, not just with me, but as well as the client. So if we want our children to learn a different way, we have to train up a child. And it also changes the relationship. So And what do I mean by that? Like, we have to get past this point, and this was hard for me, y'all. So I'm coming to talk to you about what it was for me. It's very hard when you have to get past that point of they're not my babies anymore. They're just not. They're not. And you have to redefine what that relationship is going to look like. And some of the relationships with my children are positive and sometimes they're negative. It is what it is. And what I mean by that, though, is that I don't try to dictate, how they should be, or how they should feel when it comes to me. What I do is I leave an open channel and an open door. And this is what I want to express to my parents. I leave an open channel and an open door to say, your experience of me is going to be what your experience of me is. And if you want to go to therapy, we can go to therapy to talk about it. I'm definitely open. I think every family should be open to therapy and having these conversations because it's important. It's so interesting that sometimes we become parents and we forget, like, we needed our parents to validate our feelings. Now, if you were raised by boomers, they're just not doing that. Like, they're just not doing that. And that's okay too. We've gotten into this society where we have to tear someone down. We have to tear our parents down or the boomers down, and then the millennials have to tear down Gen X and so on and so forth. And it's just like, no, it's just different. It's just really different. And if it doesn't serve you and it doesn't work for you, that's fine, but it doesn't make your way right. And I said this last week and I'll say this again. I don't really pay it any mind because here's one thing that I understand. Just like with my parents, now everything I didn't think my mother did was right. However, I learned as I got to the age in which she was and we were older, I learned that some of that stuff is really real. and what she said was true and what she said was right. And so it's going to be the same with that generation, whether they admit it or not. That's on them. They have so much courage to call everybody out, but lack the courage to take accountability. And it's not all, but I'm just saying, accountability is everything. And it's okay to be wrong sometimes. I apologize more often than not. And when I speak about apology, I'm talking about change behavior, because the best apology is when you change the behavior. And so I was actually having a conversation yesterday with a woman. She was like, well, what do I do now that I'm empty nest? Like, I don't know what to do. I'm bored. And it was a very interesting question to me because I've never allowed myself to truly get bored with anything. I'm always doing something. However, if you are just a beginning empty nester and you kind of don't know what to do, you don't have to automatically fall in line of just being a grandmother or just trying to run after your children to be their best friend. This is a time to explore. What are some of the things that you always wanted to do? This is a time to do it. It doesn't matter the age. People get so caught up in age. Well, I can't go back to school and I can't go do this. Why can't you? Why can't you? If you're 50, you got about a good 50 more years if you work it out, right? Well, and here's the thing. Minimum 30 years. What did so it took you about 30 years to do the first half of the things you want to do. So what? Stop looking at your age and look at the fact of you get to have a fulfilling, loving, energetic life. So take care of your pillars. Take care of your body, which is your fitness. Take care of your faith. Take care of your finances. Take care of your freedom, your whatever freedom looks like to you, right? And your family. And that's what you do. Go explore. Try something new. Try a new class out. You don't know what exercise you like? Go try them all. What does it matter? Go try something new. The issue about it, most of the people who become empty nesters is we all do it. Our lives are so wrapped up into our children, we forget about who we are. Well, this is a time to reconnect and figure out who you are. And that's exactly what I've been doing. I've been reconnecting with me and figuring out who I am. And what I'm coming to figure out is I love living alone. I've never lived alone. So I've been a mom since 17 and I've never lived alone. So I'm like, I am absolutely loving living alone, loving that my house gets clean and it stays that way. It stays that way. Do I miss my children? 1000%. And it's time for them to grow and it's time for me to grow too. And you get to do that. Especially for those of us who were teen moms, who were young moms, you get to do that. You get to go explore your life. Go take the trips you always wanted to take. Save the money you always wanted to save if that's what you want to do. Even here's the thing, try something that you would never try before. Do different cooking classes. Now you don't have to worry about cooking for everybody. What about learning how to make gourmet meals for yourself? What about taking up a baking class? I'm not one for gardening, but gardening, there's just so many things. The world is so vast. I don't know how to swim. Go take some swimming lessons. Like, the world is so vast. You live around water, go get your boating license. How about be a kid again? How about be a kid again? I work with lots of people, and I'm so blessed and privileged to be able to go in certain environments. And we as adults have become so serious that we overthink the smallest things. We get frantic about not having some sort of control or order that really doesn't exist. And all of this is because we grew up so fast and we just forgot that, we get to be a child again, and we get to have childlike behavior, and we get to dance like no one is watching, and we get to walk barefoot in the grass. And we get to, what was cool about being a kid? Everything was just free, just being free. And it wasn't harmful either. And they weren't afraid. They're not afraid to get on something and if they're going to fall. Now, I realize that we're a little bit older. We don't take falls like we used to, like when we were younger. I do understand that. However, put on some knee pads, go old school with it, put on some knee and some elbow pads, go have some fun, learn how to roller skate again, get into I have these they're like these moon boots, go like learn how to do Kango jumps is what they call them, go do that. It's so many things, it's so much you can do in this world, so much you can do, and you have to be willing to step outside your comfort zone and do it. I'm going to tell you something that, most people don't think about, but move. You've stayed in the same place for a long time. You've raised your family there. What would it look like for you to go to a different state? Some people are going different countries. That's not for me. I'm just going to be, flat out and honest. Living abroad is not for me. However, I have a sister who lives in Germany, and she absolutely loves it. She took the chance. She loves it. There are some people who are deciding to go to different countries, and that's great. But what would it look like for you just to do that? Why do you have to stay in the same place? You may say that it's expensive. I say do what I'm about to do, which is rent out your house. Rent it out. And use that money that you were paying for where you live and rent somewhere else. And, people say what they want about renting, but right now with those interest rates being what it is, renting looks real good to me right now. I'm so great. I would never sell my townhouse with the interest rate I have. I don't know if it'll ever come back around again. And it was high my interest rate that I have now is like 4%, but that was high for even the time that I got my mortgage. So seeing like it's like 7.1% is like, yeah, okay, I'm renting. I'm renting. But I'm just throwing ideas out there because my empty nesters, I see them and they're feeling so lost. It's like, what do I do? Is particularly the ones that are single. And there's so many different ways you can do this, ladies. Like, you don't have to stay single. If you desire to be in a relationship, be with a partner, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of going to a matchmaker. You don't want to do the dating online? Cool. Do a matchmaker. That could be fun. Talk to your friends and, see about throwing a party and have everybody bring a single friend. There's so many different ways that you can slice this. You just can't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone, and you can't be afraid to have fun. And it doesn't have to be so serious. Okay, dating doesn't have to be, we have to get married tomorrow. And I'm not talking, now let me tell you something. Okay, I'm not talking about sexual exploitation with that's not what I'm talking about here. And I'm not judging if that's what you choose to do. We can date with intention as well. However, you have to get outside your house. And I'm talking to me as I'm talking to you. You have to go outside. And I get it. We've been tied to these children for so long and probably rip and ran, especially if your children play sports like I did. You're like, I'm exhausted at this point. I just want to be home. And because home is safe and home is security. And we have to get outside of our comfort zone. And we can still stay safe outside of our comfort zone. But the safety is killing you. The safety is what's making you bored. The safety is what's making you old. Get outside your comfort zone. Go explore. I usually take myself on a vacation. I vacation by myself. I actually love the vacation by myself because I don't like to be tied to anybody else's schedule. And I think that's a part of my rebellion, right? That's a part of my rebellion because, I have been tied to my children's schedule for years. And let me be very clear. I loved every minute of it. Every minute of my daughter doing travel cheer and my other daughter doing travel softball and my son doing I love baseball. I loved every minute of it. I tried not to ever miss a competition or a game. And out of all the years, I think my daughter cheered, and she was like 12 or 13 years. I may have missed 2 or 3 competitions at most, right? And same for my daughter who plays softball. I hardly ever missed a game. And if I had to miss it, it was because we had all 3 of them maybe booked in one day. And usually I end up going with my cheerleader because I had to do her makeup. And so I loved every minute of it. And so now I'm loving every minute of exploring me. What about that business? What if get into business? There's just so many things you can explore. What would it look like to have your own business? And I know that we live in a world that they will tell you that the solopreneur is so bad. And if you're a solopreneur, you don't have a business. If you have to work in your business all the time, then it's not a real business. Here's what I'm going to tell you to all of that. They all started exactly at that point. And today they can say everything that they're saying because they worked their tails off to build the team and to build the things. But in the beginning, most of them started off as a solopreneur and or with one or two maybe business partners at the most, but they all had to work in the business until the business began working for them. So don't feel bad if it's not this grandiose thing. It takes time. And I was just talking about how I started doing coaching as well as public speaking in 2017, and I'm just now getting the gigs. It's 2024. It's 2024. And so what can you do in the meantime? Work on your craft, develop you. What is it that you want to learn? Personally develop you. Listen, go to programs that teach you about emotional intelligence. Learn about your EQ. Get into your BQ. Understand your body, and because your body keeps count, So get into your body. Know yourself from head to toe. Know how you react to things. Know what happens to you when change come about. Get to know you. What do you like? What do you love? You don't even know. What you do is you sit and watch TV or you watch social media and you start to not like and love what the people on the social media are saying, but go explore it for yourself. What would it look like for you to step outside of you and just go explore? Go explore every type of food there is. Go explore it all. Ethiopian, Asian, Indian, Jamaican, all of the ethnic groups you can think, just go explore it all. Go explore every fitness class, every single genre. Why not? Why not? How will you know what you like and you don't like if you've never tried it? Go explore. Go to different places. Go see different states. Hey, if you don't want to travel outside the US or you can't, we have 50 states. Like, go explore. I didn't even know. And don't judge me. Okay. Don't judge me. If you listen to this video, judge your mammy. Don't judge me. I didn't even know you could drive to Alaska. I know that sounds insane, but you can. I know you can drive to California. I know it sounds completely mind-blowing crazy, but I didn't know that. And so go explore. Listen, get a map of the best places to visit in each state and do that. What's stopping you? And if you tell me that it's finances, here's what I'm going to say to you. There is so many things out here to teach people how to get things for free in different states, or how to explore on a budget. I think Rachel Ray used to have a program where she would only spend like $20 a day and have breakfast, lunch, and dinner or something like that. So, there's different things, you can try out. But don't be afraid to try. That's just it. Don't be afraid to try. And you're talking to somebody who worked 2 and 3 jobs for majority of her life until I got to the point that I am right now. And I'm still, and technically I'm still working 2 jobs because I have my own business and I still work in corporate America. And so trust me when I tell you, I get the finance part and I still don't let it stop me. So don't let it stop you. Don't let it stop you. And it's crazy because I was also talking to another lady and she was just like, It was almost as if she was trying to, I'm like, I have it all, there's nothing new that I can do. I have this planned and I have that planned and I have this. And it was interesting because in my mind, I was hearing, who are you trying to convince, me or you? Who are you trying to convince, me or you? You're bored and you need to go shake it up things a little bit. Here's the thing for my empty nesters that are still in a relationship, go find every spicy thing you can do with your partner. It's time to reinvent a new you in your marriage. How about that? Go do the most spicy thing, something that's completely outside of your comfort zone with your spouse. What's things like that? They have this where you can do like calendars, like sexy calendars. It's just so many different things you can explore with your spouse. Let me tell you something. I already said, Lord help my husband when I get married, because I promise you, every single state we're gonna be doing something crazy and spicy. This is your partner. You shouldn't just be bored. We just come home from work and just sit on the couch. Now, if that's your thing, I understand that. However, the kids are gone now. What? It's time for you to reinvent a new relationship with each other. And it's not just, oh, we have date night. That is so boring. We have date night. Okay, but what are you doing? And I'm not just talking, here's what I'm talking about: intimacy. So just let me be clear. Intimacy. I'm not just talking about sex. I'm talking about intimacy. To explore your partner's heart, to know their senses in and out, because you think you know them, but I promise you, you don't. What happens then when you're a parent is both of you focus so much on the kids and raising them, you miss parts of your partner. I can guarantee you do. You miss parts of your partner, and there's parts of them that are growing in different directions than the directions you were originally going in. Is so real and it's so true. So go do something different. Reinvent that thing. Reinvent that thing. Reinvent your relationship. What would it look? What do you want it to look like? How about that? Set some intention behind it. Go to some classes together. They have fitness classes together for couples. They have yoga classes. There's so many different things to explore together. And it's not all the time, but spice that thing up. You can also, listen, get with your girlfriends. Do the girlfriend thing and start to have dinners in your home. The kids not there anymore. Do dinners. Go back to being fun. How about a sleepover? And you may say, I'm too grown for that. Well, maybe I'm just not your girl because it's not too grown for me to have a sleepover with my girls and just reconnect. Who remembers Waiting to Exhale, the movie? When they had that sleepover, it was just so, I miss those times, right? So those are just I'm just throwing out different things that you can do as empty nesters. And it's the same thing for men. Go reinvent that wheel for your woman. Go reinvent that. Here's the thing. You can foster different relationships with your children as well. Different relationship with your friends. Learn to golf. If you don't know how to golf, go play baseball or some sort of sport. And if you don't like a sport, learn an instrument. Oh my God, learning music is such a beautiful thing. Learn an instrument. There's so many ways you can explore this, right? And so this is what it's funny because this is coming up as I'm exploring things for myself. And as a coach, when I speak to people, people just can't get outside of themselves. They just can't get outside of the mundane and the status quo. And it's because they're scared. And it's so much fear. Fear keeps us trapped in this little bubble of things. It's just so much fear. And I'm telling you right now, that your life can look exactly the way you want it to if you are willing to put in the work, if you're willing to explore, if you're willing to get around a group of people who talk positively and speak into your life and don't make you have fear that, they'll tell you the whole world is just bad and it's just monstrous. However, I walk in communities of people every single day and it does not look like that. And if you're living in a place that does, you get to move to someplace different if you desire. You get to go see those places, go explore, get in your car and go to another side of your own state. How about that? Like really, it's just so many ways you can do it. But, and it's not but, it's and you have to be willing. You have to be willing. Reinvent your relationships with your children. Don't try to make them see things the way you do. They don't. And here's the thing, in time they will. And again, like I said last week, you know, their feelings are absolutely valid. However, we're not accepting all behavior. It's just that's my number one rule. Yes, their feelings can be valid. They can feel how they desire to feel about me. We can try to heal it if they desire to, and if they don't, give them their space. And if that's what they need, because their feelings are valid and so are yours, but the behavior is not. I'm not going to tolerate, we're not disrespectful, behavior where it comes, where if it gets to that point of, we want to harm one another or in the worst ways, that's not tolerated on either end. Right. So I hope that these videos actually opened up something for you. And if they do, reach out to me. It's so interesting. I'll say reach out to me, email me. I actually do answer my own emails. It's info@moesass.com. If you want to talk about what a vision strategist does and what it could look like for you, message me. I will absolutely have a conversation with you. If you want to check out my website, it's www.moesass.com. And when I come back next week, I'm going to talk about a workshop I had the privilege to put on, and just talk about, what life is looking like now in kind of like this new world that I'm exploring. And I want to share it with you because I want you to share with me what your new world is starting to look like, because Self-Love Sundays have evolved. It went from, talking all about us. It's moved into business. It's just taken up so many different areas in my life. And I want to just start hearing from you. Like, what do you want to hear, me talk about next? What is it that you want to learn? What is it that you want to explore? And I can absolutely come back and talk about it, because this is literally all about you. I share me with the hopes of you sharing you, so that we can all grow together. And I'm just excited to venture into some new avenues. And I want to see who else is out there venturing into some new avenues, and just talk about some of the things that I have coming up. As a matter of fact, I have an event coming up soon. It's going to be, let me just, because I want to make sure that I get it right. It's going to be on May 18th. And it's called the Velocity Mindset Summit. It's going to be in Cincinnati, Ohio. So if you're in Cincinnati, Ohio, and you want to meet me, come out on May 18th to the Cincinnati Bible Way Church. I'm going to be there on May 18th. I believe it's going to start at like 9 a.m. that morning. Tickets are on sale right now. As a matter of fact, it's a huge sale. We have a BOGO. So if you put, it's a buy one, get one free ticket right now. And don't be the person who waits to the last minute. Don't do it. I'm going to be, speaking there. So please, if you're in the Cincinnati, Ohio area, come out and meet me, and let's like explore together. I'm super excited about that. And I'm also going to be on June 8th. I'm going to be in Roselle Park, New Jersey. And so if you are in New Jersey and you also want to come out and meet me, I'm going to be at and this is for women, just so you know, it's the Girls on a Mission presents I Am Her, She Is Me Women's Empowerment Luncheon on June 8th, 2024. It's going to be from 1 to 5 p.m. at Casa del Rey. Tickets are on sale right now. I have to get a QR code for that, but if you are interested in I can actually get the QR code to you. Just email me info@moesass.com, or if you DM me on any like Instagram and Facebook, I'll get it to you. And so it's Girls on a Mission presents I Am Her, She Is Me. It's going to be Saturday, June 8th, from 1 to 5 p.m. I'm super excited to be on this powerhouse panel with some phenomenal women. So I hope that you come out. I hope to see you there. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your Sunday.